The views and opinions of the host are those of the hosts and not of the companies they are affiliated with. No inside information is known, and if there is, it will not be revealed. Occasional bad language may be used.
Like poopy.
Like poopy. Drew, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Ryan?
Good. We are, this is episode 2.
Yeah, I can't believe enough people listened to the podcast that we made an episode 2.
I know, right? Like, I was kind of worried at first. I was like, oh no, we recorded this, and then I went ahead and tried to get this on iTunes and everything, and I could not get the RSS feed to work to save my life. And then all of a sudden, like the next morning, like the night we recorded, we ended up recording like 11 o'clock at night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was up until about 1:30, 2 o'clock trying to get this thing to work, and I couldn't get it to work. And the next morning, it was just like, click, and it just worked. I was like, all right, fantastic. I know how to do it now. So,
look at that.
So everybody, welcome to Theme Park Blueprints episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
We made it.
My goal is to get so many episodes that we can't remember what episode it is.
That's a good thing to do too. And also, I really want to get to the point to where we have episodes that we've done in the past, and that park may announce something, and then we can kind of go back and go, so this park that we did earlier announced something, and were we right? Were we wrong?
Like, wouldn't it be nuts if, like, 7 years down the road we did, like, a park put in something we were like, oh my God, this was definitely their 5-year plan.
That would just be really kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we had said, this is not a decided podcast this time. We don't know what park we're doing this time. We do have a small list. We're going to get to that part in a second here. But first, we did get some feedback. We asked for some feedback on the show from it's not a weekly podcast. It's just whenever we can.
Mm-hmm.
Our last episode, we did ask for some feedback, and we got some. Coastercron Adam, he said, I like the Dark House Fun House, the Dark Ride Fest House, and Boardwalk idea for CP. I'd like to see a Mac multi-launch for the Big 150.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see that too.
Mm-hmm. The Hipster Quest, he said, awesome first episode.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Kansas, is that his name?
Kansas.
Kansas. Said, great first episode. Looking forward to more. And hearing my home parks, Worlds of Fun and Valley Fair. We'll probably eventually get to them.
I was going to say, there aren't a whole lot of parks in America. And so I could definitely see those on the list, especially because you've never been to Worlds of Fun and I've never been to Valley Fair.
That's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be fun when we get to those parks that either none of us have been to or just one of us have been to, and one's kind of the somewhat expert.
Mm-hmm.
And we did ask you to send some emails too. Those are all from Twitter. From emails we got from Matt B. He said his predictions were 2017 Mack Water Ride, a flume and coaster. 2018 was going to be Meaner Streak. 2019 Water Park expansion, and 2020 150 mile per hour coaster. So that's cool. And
Lucas also sent us a nice email.
Yeah, it's a rather long one. You want to read this one?
Yeah. What are the odds of getting 2 emails?
I know, right? Our very first episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really have anything, and I said, hey, Drew, send this out. Make sure we get some feedback. And thanks. You guys did a great job.
We did. Lucas says, loved the first podcast on Cedar Point. I think they're going to get a Dark Ride and Soak City expansion in 2017 with the same stuff you mentioned, moving Ripcord to a dump. In 2018, I see them getting a flat ride similar to Skyhawk at Canada's Wonderland. I believe in 2019, they will add a Splash Battle and close Mean Streak, and then RMC it for 2020. I do suggest you do Magic Mountain or California's Great America for your next episode. Thanks. Huge fan of the show. Later, Lucas from North Cal.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Lucas.
Yeah, I will say Magic Mountain is on the list of potential parks for this episode.
Yes. So Drew and I were talking. We wanted to have that big, that big park for the first episode. And what park do we know more than any other park than Cedar Point? So we did Cedar Point for the first episode. For the second episode, we wanted to get a little bit more closer to that random, aspect of things. But we also really wanted to be able to kind of control what the parks were, so we didn't get like some FEC or the Amusement Park or, some smaller little park out there. There's nothing wrong with the Amusement Park.
No.
I know a lot of people that work there.
I was going to say great staff that works at the Amusement Park.
It's a great place. So we had said, let's choose 3 parks. We chose Holiday World, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and Six Flags Great Adventure. So we've got kind of every section of the country, West Coast, East Coast, and the middle of the country. And Drew said he was going to throw those in a hat, and we were going to draw from that hat.
And then I decided to get a little more creative.
And he only said that to me before the podcast, so I actually have no idea what that means.
So there are 7 cards in this hat. 2 for Holiday World, 2 for Six Flags Magic Mountain, 2 for Great Adventure, and the giant outlier, a park that I know personally you and I have both been to, and a park you and I seem to like that not a whole lot of people like, and so I figured we would put that one into the mix to see how we could improve Indiana Beach to make others want to go there. So that 7th park in there, or that 7th paper, is Indiana Beach, and we'll see which one comes out.
Well, I think the Apex group did the first step in improving that park.
That they did.
Okay. So here we go. I don't know if we might put in an audio of a drum roll here. I'm not really sure. I'll see how cheesy that sounds. So let's draw a park.
So I got some that are folded smaller than others. Should I get a smaller one or a bigger one?
I don't know. What surprised me? Have Alpie come and do it even.
No, because then she's going to do her Chewy toys and all that stuff.
And she's going to eat your wallet.
Yeah, so this is the one I picked.
Okay, I can see it in the camera here.
All right, it is Six Flags Great Adventure.
Ooh, a park we've both been to.
Yes.
I was worried about Magic Mountain because I have never been to that park.
Mm-hmm. So Six Flags Great Adventure did get the pick.
Okay, so we are heading over to Jackson, New Jersey. What's your opinion of the park? What do you like about that park?
So, I will say I think it's got probably the best collection of roller coasters at a Six Flags park. Sans maybe Great Magic Mountain, but I mean, you've got El Toro, you've got the world's tallest roller coaster in Kingda Ka, you've got a top 10 B&M Hyper. You have the first B&M Floorless, of course, a Batman the Ride, and many other things. But the one thing I feel like they do have is a lot of B&Ms. You have a lot, and I don't think they necessarily have this eclectic group of coasters that can be all over the place. So that's one thing that they got negative for them. The other thing I think they got that's really great is the nice setting along the lake. And they also have plenty of room to expand. They're not a landlocked park by any mean. It seems like they have a lot of room. It's like a Kings Island where there's just land everywhere for the taking. And they're also in a small community that I feel like could grow around this park. There's not a whole lot of hotels or anything like that around there. So I think the future is bright for this great adventure if the right decisions are made by the Six Flags Company.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing I've had about that park is it's a weird layout. How you kind of go into the center and then you have the right testicle and you've got the left testicle and that's basically all you have, because as soon as you get past Main Street, you're almost at the back of the park. It's a very weird laid out park. But I mean, as you said, there's so much room at that park. Off to the Nitro corner, I mean, who knows? I mean, there's so much that could go on back there. So, while you were telling us your opinion of Six Flags Great Adventure, I went ahead and wrote down what they've done over the past couple of years here. They've done some good things. Let's see here. I also got my maps up here too. It wouldn't be a show without my maps. So in 2012, what did we add? We added the Sky Screamer. How tall was their Sky Screamer? Do we know?
They did not have one of the giant ones. Theirs is like the 200-something foot tall one.
Okay. So, yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, they don't really need to go tall because they've got the tallest coaster in the world there. As sad as that makes me. But they have the tallest coaster in the world. And then they also closed their Safari, which was a weird move, and no one really knew why they were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the answer came in 2013 when they opened the Safari into the regular section of the park.
To 3-hour lines.
Oh, I know. I've heard terrible things about that, and I've heard things about how you drop off at a back point, and you then have to wait for another RV to come and pick you up, and it could take forever to get back.
Well, yeah, because you don't have to get off, and so if people don't get off, then the people who did get off can't ever get back on the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
But so everyone gets off when there's nobody on the island waiting to come back. But if people are on the island and they see the long line waiting to come back, nobody gets off the truck because they're like, well, I don't want to stand in that long line. I think if Six Flags was smart, they would make everybody get off, and then
yes.
So you have the more potential revenue there from the giraffe feeding and the riding the zip line and things like that.
Like an observation deck almost where you can take, you can get off, stuff like that. Yeah.
So yeah, with the safari, they also added a Stan Schuckett's Soaring Eagle zip line.
Oh yes, the zip lines.
Mm-hmm.
2014, we had Zumanjaro, the world's tallest freefall drop ride, that they attached to the tower of Kingda Ka.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they ever would do anything like that.
No, I heard the rumors for years, and I'm like, you guys are stupid.
I was like, there's no way they're going to do that, but they did. It opened a little late, not too late. It was only a couple weeks, I think, but yeah.
That being said, Intamin had a lot of big projects that year.
They did. They had, the other drop ride here, in Tampa. They had kind of the big, huge Harry Potter ride that they were working severely on. But the only thing that I've really heard about it, besides that it's a great drop ride, is that it's really killed the capacity of Kingda Ka.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the state of New Jersey, I guess, does not let the two rides operate together for fear of loose articles and things like that.
Well, I remember when they opened up Kingda Ka, they had this whole themed queue inside the infield, just like on Dragster, but the state of New Jersey was like, nope, can't use it. You've got to have a queue outside. That's where they had that weird queue that went through the lockers and went around that whole plaza and everything.
Down the midway and then into the limited access area of Great American Scream Machine.
Exactly. It was just a really terrible setup, but I think it was almost like a last minute when they were getting their inspections and the state was like, no, you can't do this.
Yeah, New Jersey's got some weird state laws, but I will say I do respect Great Adventure for the idea of beg for forgiveness rather than ask permission on this one. I'm assuming that they either assumed the state would say no and they could change their mind, or else the other one is that they just did not think this would ever be a problem, but clearly it is.
Yes. 2015, moving on, they added El Dorado, the coaster, non-coaster, depending on who you talk to, and which they ended up renaming that one, didn't they?
Yeah, it was.
Or is that, am I thinking of something else here?
So no, yeah, it was originally a something, and then it became El Diablo, but it was not its.
What was it? It was
Looping Dragon.
Looping Dragon, and then became El Diablo. Yep, sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, El Diablo, which was Clint's first coaster, was it not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. I bet you'll talk about that whenever you get Clint back on the show again.
Yeah, the good news is he'll never listen to this show.
Oh yeah, great.
So we could talk all the positives we want about Clint, but yeah, that was his first coaster back.
And then they also, in a weird move, added Holiday in the Park that year.
Yeah, and it was very successful.
It was a really warm winter that year, was it not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was very warm. Most days were in the 50s. Granted, at night it got down to 25 degrees, but during the day, most of the things were running.
We're both from up north. So, I mean, a winter day that it's in the 50s and then drops to the 20s is a beautiful winter day.
Oh yeah.
And then this year they opened up the Joker,
which also changed its name.
Which also, it was
Total Mayhem originally.
Total Mayhem, and then they renamed it the Joker. I'm surprised they didn't keep the Total Mayhem tagline to it. I think that would have added, it would have worked perfectly for the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also themed Blackbeard's Lost Treasure Train to Harley Quinn Crazy Train.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's right next door. It makes sense.
I was going to say, I don't actually know how close it is.
Looking at the map here, I've got my bird's eye view here. It is a little old. I'm going to say right now, it looks as if they are building Green Lantern in this bird's eye here. But they took down, what was it, Fort Independence? That was the Dolphin Theater, right?
Fort Independence, and then also the lakeside grandstands.
Oh yeah. They're probably 10 feet away from each other. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad move. Plus, Blackbeard's is still a cool name, so I think little boys are going to want to do that anyway. But there's some names for rides that I think it makes sense to put an IP on. So not a bad idea there. Plus, bring some life to an old ride.
Exactly, and you've got DC with their current movie, going on right
Suicide
now.
Squad, right?
They're going to have big names. It's kind of just like pre-advertising, and the movie's going to bring in a lot of revenue, I think, for it. So that brings us to the present. Now we need to look into the future.
Yes.
Okay. So I would consider the Joker a thrill coaster. I don't really see that too much as a family ride.
No. Going upside down, 7, 6, 5, whatever you get to.
Exactly. I see that definitely as I'd say thrill coaster. And most parks across the country tend to do the family 1 year, thrill the next year, family the next. It's similar to that.
And if you look at Great Adventures history here, they kind of went thrill, family, thrill. Yes.
They really did. El Diablo, still another flipping thing. It's a thrill ride.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty much, I think they're going to go family in this, something a little more, family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
With the success of Justice League rides elsewhere, I'm thinking they're getting a Justice League ride.
Yeah, I do too. They've got that big old dinosaur island.
Fly Me to the Moon, which was just the trailer to the movie. I was very disappointed by that when I did that.
But so they've got that big giant building.
Also surrounded by 2 DC properties.
Green Lantern's right there. Superman's right there.
Exactly.
A Hall of Justice right in that area would look fantastic. And they have a very popular Christmas event that needs indoor attractions. Because if it happens to be snowing that day, Green Lantern's not going to be running. Superman's not going to be running. But you know what is going to be running? Justice League Battle for Metropolis.
Do they still have their Houdini?
Yes.
Is it running again?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do they run that during Christmas? Because that would be...
I assume
something.
so.
Yeah, and that's right there too. All right, so yeah, I'm flat out just saying, take out, do whatever they need to do to that theater right there. You've got the go-kart track right next door.
Mm-hmm.
Go-karts really don't make money for parks really anymore unless you are a go-kart park.
And there's some parks now. I saw this that was interesting. You can buy all-season go-karts for $40.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I forget which one it is, but it's one of the Clinton Novak visits a lot parks. So it's either Six Flags America or King's Dominion. One of them has a go-kart.
I could see.
Pass.
I don't think
I could see either one of them do it.
So, yeah, let's close go-karts. Let's close Fly Me to the Moon.
Well, that already is closed. It's just an abandoned building.
So let's expand the building just like they did in Over Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And let's put in Justice League there. Let's put in a really nice themed restaurant right there to the Justice League, the Hall of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a food eatery right there where you're going to have your meet and greets are going to be outside, maybe in the back, do all that stuff. But I want, and not like a sit down where they come and serve you. Just like if you were to go to Cafe 4 at Islands of Adventure, you walk up to the counter, you get your food, and you go sit down.
Yes.
I want to see, another food eatery there. I think that could do really well in that section. Theme that entire section to, the Justice League. Call it a day.
Mm-hmm. That does seem like a good idea. I can see that.
That's my idea. I think it hits everything. Their current goal with putting in this Justice League Dark ride. It adds another food option. It adds more air conditioning because everywhere in the country gets hot during the summer, so you need to get inside somewhere for the air conditioning, and then that adds another air conditioning option there. for food, because that whole tent section of the park is really ugly.
Yeah, no, the Boardwalk Carnival thing. Do you think the whole land will still keep that Boardwalk name, or do you think, kind of like how there's like Movie Town, could you see this become like Superhero City or something like that? Like,
I could see the blue pavement area being, Superhero City, or whatever they want to call that. And like, they're obviously not going to call it Gotham, because Gotham's over on the other side of the park. But they can call this, Metropolis, or they can call it, something like that.
DC Universe, something like that.
Exactly. They still have room there for the boardwalk. They can do the boardwalk with their games and their little, game kiosk and those weird tents and that whole section that feels extremely, extremely dated. They can keep that for now. I don't really see anything wrong with that section.
Now, how close is Parachute Ride and what the hell's that flippy spinny, the Twister, the top spin?
The top spin there. Oh yeah, I forgot they even added that top spin there.
Because they're right there, and I could totally see the top spin somehow getting a villainy theme on that.
I could
to just kind of go along with the whole idea.
They could definitely add a Riddler to it. Riddler Flip, or Riddler's Revenge. They've already got the name to it. They've already used it on a roller coaster. They've used it on a flat. Make that Riddler's Revenge.
Is it close enough that would make sense?
It's on the blue pavement area. The other thing there is, do they still have that SNS in Vertigo Tower thing?
God, I don't know.
Because
I hope not. If it's still there, it's gone. Goodbye.
If it's there, it's gone. If it's not there, fantastic. Make it a big meet and greet area. I don't care. Do something. Then you have the Parachute Tower there, which I don't ever want to see them leave, because it is it's a historic ride.
No, that can just stay exactly what it is.
It can stay what it is. You can throw on a theme for something. I don't know, make it Wonder Woman Fall, or just something.
Woman's Lasso Fall.
Just give it something on there. Slap on some new paint, throw on some logos or whatever. DC it up. And then I think that whole section kind of just becomes a DC centered area. And the only character you're missing there really is Batman, which he's going to be in the Justice League ride. So you have him. And he's probably going to be in the meet and greet restaurant anyway. So it works out.
No, not a bad idea. I really like the idea of redoing that area.
I kind of think of that area as almost becoming like a Marvel superhero island. Because none of the parks really have that. They have just here's our Gotham City section. But what about the other guys? I think make this a DC Justice League or DC Universe section. Have villains walking around. Have everything like that.
Sounds like a great idea.
Okay, so I think we have nailed 2017, which brings us to 2018.
Yeah, 2018. I think it's time to kind of go across the street.
You thinking over to their water park?
I'm thinking the water park hasn't gotten any love for a long time.
Probably.
2010 they added a tornado. They added a new slide.
Yeah, they added the Pro Slide Tornado.
What year did they add They added a snake themed one too at one point.
That I do not know.
No, but you know what I'm talking about? They definitely did.
I think they did something along the lines of that. I don't remember when they did that. I don't see it here. Wikipedia is not helping us in that aspect. But yeah, I think I remember that going in there sometime. So yeah, I say let's basically call on Pro Slide and Whitewater and do all of their top slides or whatever, and maybe even do they have a water coaster?
I don't know a whole lot about their water park. if I were to be honest. I've never been. I've never
either.
cared to go. I've never been a water park guy, but water parks make a ton of money, and so it's definitely a thing to note about.
It's So I'm pulling up here. That's kind of like what I like about this, that we don't know what park we're gonna get, so we kind of have to do research on the fly, and it's kind of a fun little aspect.
So
of it.
they have the Tornado, they have the Big Bamboo and Reef Runner, Take It Easy Creek, sounds like a lazy river, King Cobra. So actually King Cobra opened in 2012. That was the one we were looking for.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. 2016 they added, so for this year they added new stuff for that water park.
What is that?
It's an interactive play area with 55 water features.
Caribbean Cove?
Yeah.
Did they even announce that in a video at all? Is that something they announced?
I don't know. Probably.
Huh.
So maybe not. Maybe 2016 they added a kids area. So they've been pretty good about it, because 2010, 2012, 2013, and 2016, that's a whole lot of expansion.
That is.
So I'm going to say maybe not 2018 now that I think about it.
Huh. Do they have lodging on site?
No.
Is that something they could possibly do?
I could totally see like a Dreammore Resort style place for Great Adventure, because when I stayed there and stayed in a hotel, the nearest hotel was very many miles away, like at least 5 miles away, several exits down the highway.
There isn't really that much going on in Jackson at all.
Besides Great Adventure.
That road that it's on, I
has a Wawa.
remember there's a Wawa. I remember a Burger King. I remember a Walmart, or not a Walmart, a Burger King and a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember there's some Jackson Premium Outlets, and I think that's like the only other thing in the town.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see them putting in a hotel, nothing crazy. Do a seasonal hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And even like Breakers Express sized.
Yeah, the question about it is where do you put the hotel that makes a lot of sense? And to me, I kind of want to put it over by like the original entrance to the safari, and so you have rooms that overlook the safari.
Okay.
Like pull up you know what I'm talking about?
That was over there, like you had to go past
the park a little bit. Yeah.
Like King Ka and everything around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I could see something like that. I could see, to where you have your almost like Animal Kingdom Lodge style, where you can look out there and you might see the monkeys, or you might see the giraffes walking around in the distance.
And the reason I think that is because, I mean, the safari is something that park is definitely known for.
It's a unique thing, especially in that section of the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and also the fact of having a room like right outside of King Ka could be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that could happen.
Yeah, no, I kind of think that's an interesting place to put it, but
it would either be there could be a place to put it. Looking at the map here, right off of the road, like the main road, Monmouth Road, there's a huge plot of land on the north side of the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
They could use that. It would overlook the parking lot, similar to how King's Dominion's little hotels, motels they have there on the edge of the parking lot.
Yes. The other thing I could see it is close by to the park, but not quite there, and right on the lake that they have out there.
Oh.
Like sort of back behind Nitro.
I know they have a lot of like employee housing back there for their like Caribbean employees and everything like that.
Oh wow, I'm actually looking. I didn't even think about that, but hey, there it is.
Yeah, they've got those. I always remember seeing those while riding Nitro, and that old fire truck under there. I always remember that too. and then you've got that big employee parking lot there. There's that big plot of land. There's also there, like just past the tip of Kingda Ka. I think that makes the most sense. The only thing about that potentially doesn't make sense is you would still need a tolls person kind of there to direct people. Like if someone were to check in late at night, if you have it there next to the road and it has its own kind of separate entrance, then people can still kind of just pull in there and do the thing. That could be, and then you could have a shuttle that runs across the parking lot just for those guests and get them in an hour early, do something special for them.
So you're thinking hotel?
I'm thinking hotel. Nothing crazy. Nothing huge. I mean, how many rooms does Breakers Express have?
Probably 110 maybe. It's awfully specific, but it's not a huge hotel.
They really don't need anything crazy. I could definitely see, a smaller hotel, Breakers Express sized, have an outdoor, have that outdoor pool. So if they want to escape, if they want to make that extra, make it that 2-day thing. Make it, to where like, hey, let's go to the park for a day and a half. Let's do the water park for half a day or even longer. And, stay on property at the time. Maybe if you stay on property, you get something. You get that early entry into the park. You get a coupon for, free, popcorn or funnel cake or something. Give them something that's going to be like, okay, why should I stay at that Motel 6 down the street? Or, miles and miles down the street
away,
when I can just stay there. It's going to cost us a little bit more, but we can get all these kind of little perks because that park is not a slow park. It's a busy park. If you go on the wrong day, I've gone on cheerleading competitions and it's hell.
I
maybe give them a single use flash pass or 2 flash passes for the day. You stay at the resort, something like that.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting idea. Like a one time use the flash pass.
Yeah, like I'm a resort guest. Here's my key. Here's my my one time use pass. So that if you have to present like your key or something to use it or whatever, and then you get to go on up there. So in case like you lose yours and they don't have the key or whatever, they can't use it. So there's no reason to steal it or anything like that. It's just kind of like, here's your flash pass, and say, I think that could work. That is what I'm thinking right now for the 2018 year of Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yeah, I can totally see it. It's not a bad idea. It kind of promotes the resort, and I feel like the hotel has sort of been rumored there for a while. And maybe it's just been rumored by fans that are like, man, this really sucks, but I'm aware. I've been to Great Adventure, and it's not a park that's very easy to do in one day.
It's you really have to almost run, and you kind of have to plan the day ahead, or you have to pay for that, that high-end flash pass to be able to do everything, because you're gonna wait a while for Kingda Ka. You're gonna wait a while for El Toro, and I'm pretty sure Nitro's got a fantastically long line, even though the capacity is pretty high, but their operations isn't the best there. So if they have, capacity, they're probably not hitting it.
I mean, the other thing about that park, I mean, I will say they do tend to have better capacity than a lot of the Six Flags parks. I think there's a little bit of pride there.
There is, yeah.
But you got to think this park is the theme park for New York City and for Philadelphia.
Yeah, so a lot of them are, they probably used to do that 1-day trip, and then they'll say like, oh, this time we'll do these rides. If we're not, we can come back another time and do it. But who's to say like, hey, let's just make it that 2-day trip. Let's get out of town for the weekend or for a couple days and not have to worry about that late drive home or that really early drive out. It gives them a reason to kind of, you can do the show up kind of, earlier in the morning, check into your hotel, go to the park, stay the night, and then the next morning go to the park and then leave a little earlier and head back home. it's something you can do. I mean, Philly, it's not that far from DC. It's not that far from New York. It's a big metropolitan hotspot for, theme parks. That's my guess. I'm saying hotel.
Yeah. Could see it. Hotel is a huge investment though. So
I
think,
and I don't see any other rides going in that year.
So yeah, and I think 2019 is also probably going to take the hit.
Smaller family attraction.
I'm going one of the kids areas gets that DC Super Friends area.
You actually read my mind completely. I was going to say, I think Boomtown possibly becomes DC Super Friends.
I was going to say they have 4 kids areas in that park.
They do, yeah. I think so. They've got the DC Boomtown. They've got, or not the DC Boomtown. They've got the one back there by Nitro. They had the Wiggles section, which was right next to that.
But 2 different kids sections.
Right there. And then they had the one over there by, kind of close to El Toro, like the big pond that you can see everything from. And then didn't they have, there's a couple little kids rides in the
King Ka area.
In the King Ka area. So technically, yeah, about 4 kids areas.
I think one of them is definitely going to become DC Super Friends.
And I see it being the Looney Tunes Boomtown. Possibly. Right over there by Nitro, possibly. It seems like that is the largest of them and has the most potential for. And has the roller coaster.
Yes.
So I could see them taking basically over Georgia's playbook and just doing that.
Yeah, I don't think the coaster will get the Joker name just because they already have a Joker coaster.
I mean, yeah, they could get something else. They could throw in, if they don't do that Riddler, they could throw in Riddler, or they could throw in Bane, or do like a childish version of some of these, like Scarecrow, Killer Croc, anything like that.
Yeah, but I definitely think you're probably going to see the addition of the Larson Flyers, because Grid Over Georgia did that, and also that wacky looking like drop tower frog hopper thing that's pretty tall.
Oh yeah, I could see that happening too.
Because it's like a kid's version of adult rides. It's not like kid rides where your Hamptons where you push the button and go.
And they've got that ball factory back there too.
Yeah,
split it down the middle, make it your your Super Friends, make it your Legion of Doom, and have them kind of just shooting balls at each other.
So yeah, I definitely think Super Friends is the way to go there.
I think I like that idea because it's not going to cost that much. It doesn't cost that much to do slap on some new paint, make some new signs.
Your sign factory or your sign shop is the one that has to do most of the theming that year.
Exactly, and getting some new forms made of some DC superheroes and everything like that in that corner. I think that's perfect.
I mean, I'm looking from the air here on it, and I can see empty flat ride foundations in that area.
Exactly. I mean, it goes all the way back. There's so much room there. And it doesn't get rid of Looney Tunes altogether because they still have that Looney Tunes camp or whatever over there next to the El Toro area.
Yes.
So I think that works out as a great move. I think that's I was about to say it and then you said it and it worked out perfect. That was actually the easiest one I think we came up with.
That it is. I mean, I think you're going to see those at a lot of Six Flags parks. I think they're great and they're fun. And I think DC Super Friends now are a little more relatable to people than Bugs Bunny.
Exactly. And, everyone knows who Bugs Bunny is, but, the superheroes, I mean, there's so many, like, kids shows to them and, little kids like the superheroes.
Then I also have another random edition that's going to happen this year.
Or in 2019?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Sweet LED light package on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Let's just do a, let's pretty up the park. Maybe, add it, maybe you could do a retheme even of the boardwalk even, just kind of spruce it up, make it look nicer. There's that really ugly building with all the ice cream and stuff on the outside. That's a really ugly section of that park. But yeah, let's LED the Ferris wheel and give it a a nighttime presence throughout that park.
Yeah, that we will.
Okay. So, are we stopping at 2020 again this year?
Yeah, we got one more year to go. And I don't really have a clue of what could go here.
I do. So, that whole section of the park next to... That whole section that they closed off on the right side of the park when you're going in, it's
Which is
still closed.
so awkward.
It's still closed, right?
Yeah, sort of. They have like a scrambler there now, and
That's the thing that's in the tent, right? Is it inside or is it outside?
it's outside.
It's outside, okay. They also had that antique car ride back there. I don't know if that's still there.
But so you're talking like from bumper cars aren't there anymore. I think they're closed.
Well, the last time I was there, they had that wall up and they had weird cabanas back there. For some reason, they had cabanas, and then it was blocked off, and then you had to go all the way around by the DC, by the Gotham section, and you could basically walk up just past the stunt theater. Mm-hmm. And then they had another wall there, so that whole section was closed off. My thoughts there is I think we're going to get a B&M wing coaster. Put it in that section. They can reuse the name Batwing. Mm-hmm. Take out the stunt show. Have it. They've always said about utilizing that dumb observatory thing that was for the chiller.
Yes.
You can utilize that. Make that a keyhole moment. Put in just a massive. Make it the biggest. Have them say, we have the biggest wing coaster in the world. That's my idea.
Yeah, no, I don't hate the idea. I think I would say it's plausible. And the fact that we're 5 years down the road makes it even more plausible.
Exactly.
Because I feel like Six Flags is finally, it amazes me that the park chains as a whole are doing so well, and they really are kind of putting garbage in. A lot of the parks get garbage that
it seems like one or two of the properties every year get something nice. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of them, like you'll have a handful of them. The majority of the rest will get something just kind of shit. Mm-hmm. And then like the last one or two, which usually always ends up being La Ronde and Great Escape, get either nothing or they get something extremely laughable that nothing would have been better.
Yes.
So my idea for them is to put in the swing coaster that year. It's going to be, they've got, after the 2018, expenditure of the hotel, they've taken that year off. They can throw in some massive new ride elsewhere, St. Louis, I don't care, wherever it goes, and then throw this into Great Adventure, B&M Wing Coaster, have it do the launch. I think the launch would be fun. Have it highly themed, Batman, Batwing. By that time, there's going to be, 2020? I think Justice League, the second Justice League movie is going to be coming out. There's going to be a whole lot more Justice League and Batman and Superman. The whole DC movie universe is going to be a lot further in, and I think they can really kind of piggyback off of that.
Yeah, no problems with that. I can't wait for Six Flags to realize that they are just adding shit every once in a while to these parks. And if I was a fan of Great Adventure, I mean, I talked about this on the In the Loop podcast. Stupid Six Flags was so much more fun than like the smart business sensation Six Flags. I mean, during Stupid Six Flags, you got King Ka, you've got El Toro, you got Medusa, you got them. They added like 19 rides that one year. You got Nitro and Superman. So you had all of these new coasters going in there.
They were adding major B&Ms like every year.
Yeah, that park, they realized how much attendance that park gets. They realized the capacity they need for that park, and they just kept building. It's honestly like what I would love Cedar Fair to do to Wonderland when they realized that this park does as much attendance as a year-round park some places.
Exactly, but that could be for another show. Right now, I'm saying world's longest, tallest fastest wing coaster.
But you're launching it. So
I'm
you're
launching
saying
it.
the longest, tallest, and fastest wing coaster is going to be a launch.
Yeah, or at least a launch midpoint.
Are you going to use the Chillers station for the launch? Because I think that would be interesting homage to the ride. The queue is all still there.
Yeah, I mean, everything is still there. I could definitely see them using that building and having the trains like slowly moving out. I could see it going up a lift. Say, I'm going to do some terrible theming here, storyline. You're out on a patrol. You've heard of, X villain is out, and you are in your Batwing to go find them. Mm-hmm. So you go up the lift. It's the world's tallest B&M wing coaster lift. Let's, I don't know, even go 200 feet. Like, do something crazy there. And then have it do, its fun dives and its slow, big, huge, sweeping, motions, and have those elements. And then, maybe it slows down into another building, and you've got things going on, like Alfred pops on and he's like, Master Wayne, I found him, blah, 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 blah. He's over here. And all of a sudden you launch off, and then you do some other crazy sick movements. And then you end up, doing the keyhole through the observatory. There's audio going on saying, we're on his tail. We got him, blah, 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 blah. And then you end up coming into the finish. There's video, there's, monitors in the brake run that are, it's Batman. He's like, all right, we got him, blah, blah, blah. Thanks to Alfred, doing his, whatever, and just adding a story to it. And then you come back into the station. You're done.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating tale, and I definitely like the idea. I don't have a problem with a wing coaster, and I think it sort of, a wing coaster sort of looks like Batman.
Exactly. And they could use, Batwing, the chase of blah, I don't know, have the chase of Bane, have, chase of Scarecrows, something like that. I don't know. Six Flags has better marketing people than I do.
But yeah, no. It seems like a common thing I've said a lot. Yeah, no. I've realized I've said that like 3 or 4 times. I like it. I like the idea of a big coaster coming to Great Adventure. They haven't had one in years, because I don't really even consider the Joker really a big coaster.
It's not a big coaster.
I don't consider Green Lantern a big coaster because it was a recycled coaster. So in reality, like the last coaster they got that wowed me was El Toro, and that was 2006.
Because Medusa became Bizarro, then they added in Green Lantern. Well, they didn't add; they just moved Green Lantern to that spot, and then they, the Joker. They didn't really add anything like big and crazy. Like, I need to get to Great Adventure. If they were to do something like this, I need to get to Great Adventure.
Yeah, this would be the first time I would have been like, wow, let's go to Great Adventure. The reason why Great Adventure's on the list now is because the girlfriend's never been there before. And it's kind of like one of the, okay, well, at some point, if you're a coaster enthusiast, you need to ride El Toro.
It's exactly. I mean, you need to have that moment where you say, is this the best wooden coaster in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that is a coaster fan that hasn't been, they need to go right now. It doesn't matter what we add to the park. Their current lineup is more than enough to get you to go to the park. But since both of us have done it multiple times, and also we're down in Florida, it's not, the easiest just hop on the road or hop on a plane and get up there kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They need to add something that really wows me. And I think
you're right.
I think this year, 2020, I think I'm going to have to go up to Cedar Point, and I'm going to have to go up to Great Adventure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, kind of summarizing what we've put into the parks. 2017 is the Justice League edition. You've got the DC restaurant, a whole DC section. So the retheme of the rides that they're there, plus building the big dark ride that'll be open year round, air conditioning for the hot New Jersey summers, and then also indoors during the cold New Jersey winters when Holiday in the Park is just rocketing. Plus, I absolutely can't wait for like the Christmas decorations of like Justice League and stuff like that.
Oh, that could be so cool. Like the lit up, like, their logos and everything like that. Oh, that could be really, really cool.
And then, like we said, long drives going to the park. So 2018,
you need a place to stay.
Yeah.
So let's put in the Six Flags Great Adventure Hotel. probably have a better name than that. But let's put the hotel in there. We didn't really clarify on a place that it would go. I think, we kind of both agreed that over there by the safari could be a cool location because you can see the safari. You can kind of look off in the distance and see the weird shaped lake of Prospertown Lake. You can look off in the distance. I mean, I'm not saying like we need like a sky rise there, put in like a 3 or 4, story hotel, nothing huge, nothing crazy, the size of any hotel that would do just fine in that town. And I think, after that big expenditure of putting those in there, they need to take an off year. We go over to the Boomtown area next to Nitro, and we put in the DC Super Friends section.
Yeah, a couple new flat rides.
Slap some new paint.
And then also by sprucing up that section of the park, close by is that Ferris wheel, which we're going to put the new LED lights on, which look fantastic.
Yeah, it would put a big, huge, night package on there, make it so that when it's moving and you can have like animations on it and everything like that. I think it could be really cool.
Going back to Holiday in the Park, like Christmas lights and all that stuff, you can make it look like Christmas bulbs, Christmas trees.
Snowflakes, everything like that. I think that's, a great move. And then we move into the big year where we take that, 2020, where we take that whole section of the park right up front that's not being used anymore. It's been a closed section for years. And we put in the Batwing wing coaster. Tallest, fastest, longest, highly themed, have that lift, have that launch, and put that in there. Make it something to where everyone has to get to that park.
Yes, definitely. Give me a reason to go back, Six Flags.
That's what I think they need to do.
Now, that's what Six Flags needs to do. And now let me tell you what you need to do. And you as in the listener, not you as in Ryan, the man with the mustache.
What do we need to do?
Leave us feedback, because let us know what you think of our suggestions, what you think Great Adventure is going to do, what you think they need, things like that. And also, we really want you to pick the park next week. I think we're going to take all of the parks that we get suggested. We're going to do the same kind of hat thing, only that one's coming out, and it's going to be completely from you guys. So nothing that we picked is going to come.
I mean, I will say don't put in, I don't really want to see that FEC in there just because it's kind of a little harder for us to do because we're still kind of new to this. We want to have something, something a little bigger, something we can, hop on to Wikipedia or anything like that. And we can go, okay, what did they add this year? What did they add this year? How are they doing? Kind of things like that. So put in, put in that super park.
Put in your home park.
Put in your home park. Yes, exactly. If you want us to hit your home park, put in your home park.
Yeah.
So that means you, Coaster Crown Adam.
Yeah.
And, Kansas, the Hipster Quest, and Matt B. and Lucas, send us those parks again.
Yeah, and anybody listening at home that hasn't said anything, feel free to send us something as well. You can also contact us on other means of social media. Obviously, email us at themeparkblueprints@gmail.com.
We're also on Twitter at Park Blueprints.
Or myself on Twitter at Drew the Intern.
You can find me on Twitter at The Park Guides. You can also follow my drinking habits on Untapped at Eisentrout. I also have a not so much used YouTube channel. It's The Theme Park Guides.
But if you want to see a cool video of Hulk getting its loop taken out,
I was so happy that I was there that day where it just kind of got removed and it was there. And Drew, if we want to watch your adventures on the internet video form, where do we go for that?
You'd go to youtube.com/coastercrew because we couldn't change the name. But it's the In the Loop podcast on YouTube. Just search In the Loop or youtube.com/coastercrew. Homing in on 10 million views, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's what you were saying on the last podcast there.
Yeah, we're like 5 or 6 days away from being 10 million views.
So hopefully we can, I'll be able to congratulate you on our next episode here. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that does it for episode 2 here. We went to Six Flags Great Adventure. I'm looking forward to going somewhere else next time.
Yeah, let us know your home park. Message us, let us know, email. anything like that would be great. Tweet us at Park Blueprint. Been like, my home park is Valley Fair, and I want you to talk about them. My home park is Michigan's Adventure.
That is my home park.
I know, that's what's funny.
So, thank you so much for listening, and maybe next time we'll go to your park.
That was a interesting little closing line there. We'll go to your park. It's kind of like your slogan.
Oh, why not?
It wasn't really planned that way, but it fit in well. So it's been a pleasure.
Always. See you guys.